From the OUTV Broadcast Center in Los Angeles, California, this is Brief News Brief, a brief look at today's trending news topics, proudly combating the thought police since 2016. Here's your host, James Heaney.
I'm James Heaney, and this is your Brief News Briefing. Is the U.S. trying to sell nuclear technology to Saudi Arabia? Well, apparently the answer is yes. Several current and former Trump administration appointees have promoted the idea of selling nuclear power plants to Saudi Arabia. Well, while nuclear power plants in themselves are not a nuclear bomb, the same technology is used. So when you send that sensitive information, it can be reverse engineered and then re-engineered into nuclear weapons. Now, members of the National Security Council and other senior White House officials have repeatedly objected to this. White House lawyers and former Chief of National Security Council H.R. McMaster objected. They called for a halt in the nuclear sales discussions in 2017. The money grab could have potential conflicts of interest, national security risks, and legal hurdles. Yet the retired Lieutenant General Michael Flynn was all about it. Shocker! It turns out these talks were still a hot topic in the White House as recently as last week. We learned this today only because Representative Elijah E. Cummings, a chairman of the House Oversight Committee and Reform Committee, released a 24-page report on the details of the White House internal battle. Okay, and it's an internal battle. Now it's out because there's an unnamed whistleblower inside the White House that says that they assisted in the release of the report because they were distressed at the continual effort to sell nuclear technology to a regime that might use it to make nuclear weapons. Now, one of the major power plants that could benefit in the deal is Westinghouse Electric. Now, this company is a very special company. It's a subsidiary of Brookfield Asset Management. And that company provided financial relief to the family of Jared Kushner, who is the son-in-law, if you've forgotten, of Trump. That's where the conflict of interest, which is one of the many, could spark in there. This is highly sensitive U.S. nuclear technology that the White House is in a rush to transfer to Saudi Arabia, and it's in potential violation of the Atomic Energy Act. It's required by law that this transaction be reviewed and approved by Congress. Sounds like the White House political appointees repeatedly ignored top ethics advisors who continued to order senior White House officials to halt their efforts, to which the Trump administration said, "Nah, brah, we like that money." Meanwhile, this week, Kushner's taking a trip to the Middle East. And if my geography is correct, the Middle East is where Saudi Arabia is. I'm not saying he's going there, but is he going there? Roger Stone, the dirty little trickster, is in a whole new world of judgment for crime. A federal judge has demanded that Roger Stone explain himself in court. Now, Stone took to Instagram and posted a photo of the judge in his case that included her name and a close-up of her face and what appeared to be the crosshairs of a gun sight near her head. Sheesh. That's pretty ballsy. It kind of gives me flashbacks of this bomb threat thing that was going on before the midterm election, where there was this crazy guy in a van who had pictures of all these Democratic leaders with crosshairs over their faces. And Trump had been demagoguing his campaign rallies, getting people riled up, saying that these people are the enemies of the state. Now, what is Roger Stone doing? He's on trial, and he's acting like a crazy bomb guy in a van. I mean, that's kind of an archetype, and Roger Stone's is acting like it. Now, he posted this initial photo and then deleted it very quickly afterwards as he was experiencing what we call FOMO, fear of missing out on freedom, so he deleted it. He reposted the picture again without the crosshairs there. Should have been a good first choice, but then he deleted that one as well. Wow, he really had to think about this one, I guess. He later said that he didn't mean to threaten the judge overseeing his criminal case. In a letter to the judge, Amy Beeman Jackson, he apologized and called the picture improper. But the judge don't care for his crocodile tears, and she has scheduled a hearing for Thursday afternoon, saying that Stone must show cause as to why she should not lock the man up right here and now. Jackson is presiding over Stone's criminal trial, in which he has pled not guilty to charges of lying about his efforts to gather information about the hacked Democratic Party emails that were published by WikiLeaks. Now, these are serious charges, and this is serious stuff. But is he the linchpin in the Russia-Trump collusion case? And is he trying to threaten the justice with an Instagram post? Now, I'm not sure what's going on with Roger Stone. He's going to appear before the judge on Thursday to be reprimanded, at the very least, for his juvenile Instagram performance, behavior, or games, whatever you want to call it these days. Insta trouble! The fight to build the wall goes on and on, hurrah. The fight to build a wall that goes on and on, hurrah. Despite what Trump says in his speeches, we haven't started building the Trump wall, not at all. Sure, there is pieces of the wall, but none of those pieces of the wall Trump can really take credit for, unless you call taking credit slapping a plaque with your name on it. Which kind of makes sense because that's his branding. That's what he does. Nonetheless, he is trying to get this unpopular monument erected. He shut down the government to try to erect this wall. He stalled on the State of the Union to try to erect the wall. He tried to shut down the government a second time. I wouldn't say tried. He almost shut down the government a second time trying to erect this wall. And now, with the hopes of an erection the size of a wall, the president has declared a national emergency to build his wall. Now, almost immediately, the fight went to court. Now, oh boy, here comes the open border Democrats and the radical left again, desperately wanting crime and drugs and rapists coming into the country. That's not. The lawsuit's coming from 16 separate states, and they're seeking to prevent Trump from funding border barriers without congressional consent. Trump is seeking to spend roughly $8 billion on the border barrier construction, and only $1.4 billion of this has been approved by Congress, which is the way that you usually go about spending. Now, he plans to tap money from other funds, including drug interdiction and military construction projects. Now, the move by the Trump administration is highly questionable, as Congress's main constitutional power is the power of the purse, meaning the power of spending money. Congress rejected this wall multiple times. So now that Trump doesn't control Congress, he figures he's just going to give himself more power. The whole thing could start a very disturbing and dangerous precedent, but this being unprecedented times, I guess we should have expected this to come. Trump acknowledged that there's a possibility the lower courts are going to rule against him in this emergency declaration, but he did express hope that he would prevail in the Supreme Court. Wow. I guess it's a really good thing nobody voted on Merrick Garland. He got shut out. And then Trump, in his 2 short years, it's a really good thing he was able to seat 2 lifetime appointees, Neil Gorsuch and Brett Kavanaugh, on the highest courts of the land, so he could politicize the courts in his favor. Huh, cool, brah. Cool.